Hey guys, it is Diana and it is Wednesday, September 1st. Can you believe it? I can't believe we are in September. Most kids are in school already. Can you believe that? So my stepson started school, one a freshman and one is an eighth grader. So, yeah, it's September. Some kids haven't started, some started last week, but these could be grandkids or stepsons' kids or maybe your own kids. So, yeah, so you know what? This is a perfect topic for this time. Really want to know what you want in your next chapter. So, your next chapter, 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond, because we all know we have a lot of years left and we want to make those years the best possible. So, when you're here and I see you in the group, I'd like you to say hi. And then I also want you to comment what you want in your next chapter. I'm going to talk a little bit about what I want in my next chapter, along with other people that I've talked to, other women, I should say, that I've talked to, what they want in their life, right? So, hey, Dawn, nice to see you. And Heidi, yes, the best version of yourself. Perfect. You're rocking it too. You're getting there. That's perfect because that's what I hear a lot. I want to be the best version of myself, or I want to be that. I want to be happy, and I want to have energy, and I want to play with my grandkids, and I want to, like take this trip or look really good in these clothes and all that kind of stuff. Hey, Jody, nice to see you. So really, there's something that happens to a woman when we get to be in our 40s, right? And 50s, and maybe it doesn't happen right away when we're hit 40s, but it's like a tipping point. Hey, April, nice to see you. All right, guys, nice to see you all here. But it's kind of like an awakening, right? So you hit this magical number of 40, sometimes it's 50, and you're like, huh, now what do I do? My kids are growing up, spent my whole life, taking care of them, and I'm working and I'm doing all this, and now I'm becoming an empty nester, or now your kid's been out of the house for a while, you're just kind of trying to figure out what to do with yourself, and now you've got grandkids, right? And you want to keep up with them. So it's like a tipping point. It's an awakening, if you will. Some call it like you feel the cloud has lifted, like, huh, I'm finally able to now see what really matters in my life. It took you a while in what matters in your life at a certain point, like maybe when you're in your 20s and 30s, is going to be different than what matters now in your 40s, 50s, and as you get older. So sometimes it hits you really hard, right? Like, oh my gosh, I've been on this earth for 40 plus years. That's like a half a century or more. And I don't have a lot of time. I have a lot of years, but where did that time go, right? Yeah, and Dawn shares here, I want to be able to move freely and dance and have energy for all of her pursuits, like what she wants to do. And Jody, you want to enjoy life physically, mentally, and emotionally, right? It is the whole person. It's not just about one thing. It's about the whole person. Hey, Maggie, nice to see you. Yes, and inspire your adult children and grandchildren to be true to their own voice. I love this, Heidi. Take care of themselves, support one another. Yeah, that support is huge, right? And sometimes you do need to like put the ice cream down, like you said, make different choices about food and priorities. Yes, and what you can do is be that role model for that. So, yeah, I really really like that. So. Hello there, Annie. Nice to see you. I love you guys all popping in. Share with me what you want in your new chapter, and that could be your 40s, 50s, maybe your 60s, right? So sometimes women tell me that it's like they're feeling a sense of freedom, like now it is their time to focus on themselves, but also an urgency because it happens so fast. And it's like, oh my goodness, what happened to these last 40 years or 50 years? Where did that time go? I know I can look at that when I'm seeing on Facebook all these back to school pictures of kids, right? So like my grandkids and going back to school, and I'm like, how can they be in 4K and how can they be in middle school? Like, where did that time go? And all I have to do is just look at where my kids are, and there they are, right? So, but it also is an opportunity for us when we get to that certain point in our life that we analyze our life, our previous years, where we've been successful, where we've maybe not been successful. I don't want to say failed, but yeah, we learned from failure. Or maybe it's opportunities we passed up. So it could be, yeah, I should have gotten in shape or done this, this many years ago, et cetera, et cetera. And now it's time for yourself. And you want to live the life, you want to love and live the life that you want. And also it's a feeling of, hey, Julie, nice to see or hear you, right? You said you're listening. Perfect. Yeah. Right. Dawn says she starts back teaching 4K tomorrow. Yeah, I have those 4K grandkids. I know the energy. So you will definitely need to have energy, right? So, and really, how do you want this journey to affect your next phase of life? So you are in that next phase, whether you want to believe it or not, because you've lived all these years. Not that they were bad, but you probably learned a lot, right? We are who we are today because of the trials and tribulations, but also the happiness and the successes that we've had too. And we've learned from those things that haven't done well for us. So some things that I wanted to share with you, and also you guys keep sharing what you want in your next chapter. I want to see some more comments, or maybe there's something else you want to share too about your next chapter and things like that. But definitely it's a time for us to analyze where we've been and where we want to go. Like I tell, and many of you have heard me say this, that you're on this side of the water, right? Or this side of the river. And there's this bridge, like the Golden Gate Bridge, and you want to cross over that and get to that other side. Well, now it's time for you to analyze, what do I look like and what do I need to do with my life to get to that other side? So, so Vicki shared she just turned 60 a few days ago. Well, happy birthday. That's awesome. And you work in healthcare. I get that. And you're on your feet. And you've recently been having a lot of problems with your legs. Yeah. And then you feel like, yes. And it doesn't interfere, doesn't it? I had a lot of people have some issues with pain in their legs from being on their feet and things like that. So I will definitely offer you some suggestions here. As soon as I'm going to just finish up this topic, but I will definitely get back to you, Vicki, on some suggestions, because I was in healthcare, was at the bedside for about 20 years or so, totally understand and can feel or understand where you're coming from. So I'll get back to you on that. Thanks for the question. So as we analyze our life and look back on it and figure out what we want, or maybe we don't quite know, but you have some ideas, like maybe you want to lose weight, you want to burn some body fat, you want to have more energy, you want to learn how to eat better, you want to learn, like to develop friendships, get away from toxic people and be with people that are uplifting and supportive. And sometimes it's not family, it's friends, and sometimes it's choosing, different friends. Hard to choose different family, but you can also be set boundaries and stuff with family and things like that. That's a whole other topic. But anyway, so a couple things that I figured out for my next chapter, and I'm sure some of you have probably heard this before, but make yourself your number one priority, right? It's really time to take care of yourself. You can't take care of other people if you don't take care of yourself first and be that role model. Women have always been the caretakers, right? It's just something that we do. It's kind of like a reflex. We just take care of people. So practicing self-care is not selfish. It's something that we all should do. And honestly, it's a necessity. And I've talked about this before, about putting yourself first. But you need to put yourself first if you want to live that rich and productive, fabulous life, this next chapter, right? So, Jody, what did you say here? I want to put effort into something that's just for me. Seeing the results in the mirror is a real rush, and others noticing that I'm happy again. Yeah, you and I talked about that, and that's so important, right? It's very motivating. And when people tell you that you seem happier, then you're like, oh wow, I'm doing something for myself, and people are noticing, and I'm a better person for it. And so thanks for sharing. That's perfect. Very, very good. So another thing, course, making yourself that number one priority, but commit to developing that healthy lifestyle. I had to do that. Like, I had to make that commitment to do that. Do you know that like 95% of all diseases are related to lifestyle choices, right? So stress, exercise, nutrition, relationships, those are all parts of healthy living. And so if you can learn how to handle your stress through things other than eating bad foods, drinking, smoking, drugs, all those kinds of things, you're going to have a richer life. You're going to be more productive. You're going to be more positive. You're going to feel a lot more healthy. You're going to have a lot more energy. And you're going to have this really profound sense of well-being. And I think, Jody, that's kind of what you meant by that, too. You feel like it's like, wow, I feel so good. And that is that profound sense of well-being. So we do live stressful lives. And if we learn, and stress is going to go away, but if we learn some different techniques on how to manage that. And that is mindset, right? Having a different approach to things, exercise, nutrition, and that kind of stuff. Another thing, surround yourself with friends and family that love you and support your growth, right? I mean, sometimes you're with friends. I mean, how many times you've been with friends or coworkers that are judgmental and they're talking about other people and they suck the energy right out of you, right? So don't make excuses for keeping those people in your life. Move on from those people, because you want to be with people who are loving and supportive of you. And remember this, that your closest friends, like your top 5 friends, are a mirror of what you truly think about yourself. So if you're hanging out with negative, self-sabotaging people that are negative, that's what you think about yourself. So think about that for a minute. You choose the people that you should hang around with. You want to be with people who embody the traits that you want in your life. The positivity, the healthy lifestyle, the supportive nature, not the backstabbing, talk about people behind their back, judgmental people, right? Another thing, learn to say no. It's very difficult for women to say no, right? You maybe do really, really well at your job, and so your boss asks you to do all these other things because you get things done and you keep saying yes, 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 yes. But then what happens is you don't have time in your schedule, so then what you do is you push off the exercise and the meal prep because you have to get this done because you said yes. And then you don't have the time and the energy to pursue the things that you want to do in this next chapter. So learn to say no. It's okay. You don't have to take on every project, every birthday party, making a cake for everything and doing all of that. It does take some practice to stop yourself from saying yes. I mean, sometimes you just have to say, no, I can't do that right now, but maybe the next time or something like that. But it's a skill that you'll learn. So just learn to say no and not get caught up in that stressful kind of, like, I got to do this and, that kind of thing. So, hey, Karen, nice to see you. I always say see you, but I don't really see you. I see you comment. That's what I mean by that. So delete I should from your vocabulary. That's another thing that I really had to work on, and I'm passing that on to you guys too. When you say I should, say I choose to or I want to, because you'll be surprised with the results. Like, if I say, I should go exercise, say I choose to exercise. You're going to have a little bit different brain chemistry hit. Like, I choose to exercise. Yes, I choose to do that. Or when you say, I have to exercise, can you just see that? Like, have to. I choose to. I want to. I want to eat healthy. I choose to eat chicken. I want to eat a salad, instead of saying I should. I should ourselves all the time, right? Try and replace automatic negative thoughts with positive thoughts. So we're always questioning ourselves. I know you guys feel this. Yes, Dawn, I bet. Hardest thing to say as an artist is no. It is. Can you do this? Can you do that? And you're like, oh, sure. But then who suffers, right? Who's the one that's got all the stress? And then you lose track, right? You don't have the energy to do it, and you don't have the time to do it. You have to keep, it's like that talk that we had the other day about boundaries, setting your schedule. putting boundaries in place for your time. Yes, I can do that, but this is my time. I can do that at 6, but I can't do that now. That kind of a thing. So those negative thoughts. So we're always saying things to ourselves, or questioning, like, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not I shouldn't do that because I'm not smart. Whatever it is, replace those things with I am enough, I am beautiful, I am deserving, I am worth it, right? Those things, not I'm not good enough, I shouldn't do that, my husband's going to be mad at me, all that kind of negative stuff. So if you say things on the positive, like I am enough, I am worth this, I am worth this investment, this is time for me, I've spent this on that program for my child, now I need to do something for me. So I am enough. I like that one. I am enough. I am the artist of my life, right? You are in charge of your life. You are in charge of saying yes. You're in charge of saying no. You're in charge of the things that you tell yourself. Also, love and accept yourself. You are beautiful. All of you are beautiful and loving people. You have caring souls. You are non-judgmental. You really need to look yourself in the mirror in the morning and just say to yourself that you love yourself. Like, I love you, Diana. Right? It's hard to do, right? Because you think, oh, that sounds really weird. But you need to love yourself before you can love other people. And it sounds hokey, but appreciate you. Appreciate your authenticity. There it goes. Maybe if I said it faster, right? You are enough. You are worthy. Right. And Jody says, my value is not less because someone else's inability to see it. Very true. Yes. Very, very true. I love that. You guys are awesome today. So love and accept yourself. Do that every morning. Do that every morning, right? You'll start to really believe that. Develop a daily gratitude practice. So what I've been doing in the evening, most evenings, yes, I do miss a few, just to be totally transparent, is that gratitude journal. Like, what am I grateful for? What is one thing positive that happened today? What is one thing that I'm looking forward to tomorrow? And who am I grateful for today? Like, why? And even send that person a message. I am grateful for you, Dawn, today because you are a very caring individual. You care a lot about people. You have a very warm personality. When you tell people that, you'll make their day. So tell yourself that you're beautiful, but also compliment somebody else and be grateful for those things that you do have in your life, right? Could be a lot worse. There's a lot of things in this world that are happening, and we have to be thankful and grateful for the things that we do have. So that daily gratitude practice is super healthy. You can do it in the morning. I do it at night. It helps me before I go to sleep. Work on self-awareness. Become aware of your moods, your desires, all of that. Be aware of those things. So, like, if you're working with me in a program, you've already told me you want to live meaningful lives, right? Productive lives, energetic lives. So work on times when that's not happening and be aware of that. So when your mood falls or your motivation isn't there, be aware of that and why that's happening. So just check in with yourself. It's kind of like, all right, I'm good. I got to stop this. I'm in a bad mood. Why am I in a bad mood? Maybe you need to deal with whatever it is or move on and deal with it later. Because those emotions, you kind of walk mindlessly through your day then, and then you're picking up stuff to eat that you shouldn't eat, or you're so involved emotionally with whatever that is that you're not going to work out. You're going to sit on the couch and you're reacting to something that you actually can maybe deal with right away, put on the back burner, depending on if it's an emergency or not. But just kind of be aware of those moods that you get in. Also take responsibility for your life, right? You can't blame everybody and everything for what happens to you in your life, right? Don't blame others. Don't say things like, if only I did this or if only I did that, right? Um, Replace that kind of talk or those voices with I am responsible for my own life and I choose to create an extraordinary life. Write this down if you can. I am responsible for my own life and I choose to create an extraordinary one. And this is your next chapter, right? So don't blame external circumstances on not being happy for yourself, or your life will just keep you stuck. It will keep you frustrated. It will keep you angry and pissed off. Blaming others when things aren't going smooth isn't going to help you, right? Remember, you're in charge of your life. So I am responsible for my own life, and I choose to create an extraordinary next chapter. How's that? Yeah, like Dawn says, I had a couple of days like that this week. We have days like that. That's not a secret. That happens to us. And Annie, I love all my scars. It reminds me I survived. Hear me roar. Very good. Yes, because think about your life. It hasn't been all, roses, right? And white picket fence and all that, because we've all been through things. It could be divorce. It could be a loss of a child, a parent. It could be a child or family member that doesn't want to speak with you anymore, that you've had to set boundaries with. We all have had stuff. But take control of your life and how you respond to that, because you are the one that can control yourself. And believe in your own abilities is another thing. Believe that you have the power and ability to create the life that you deeply desire. You're going to be shocked at what you can do. Yeah, maybe you've had some struggles. We all had struggles, but you have the power. You can change, you can pivot, you can move and make it exciting. Make this next chapter like the best ever and live that happy, healthy life where you have that energy and you're wearing that dress that you've wanted to wear for the last 10 years or whatever it is. So you have the power to do all of that. You have the power to inspire those changes. Stop worrying about what other people think. I get to a point in my life now that I do care about what people think of me. I still do. However, I know that I am in charge of my life, and if somebody doesn't like that, that's okay. Like family, friends, whoever, you have to make some choices that are going to work best for you, right? So, we are taught from little on that we need to have others' approval, and that's not just women; it's boys too, and men. Spending time on that trivial stuff about who likes me, who doesn't like me, what if they don't like this, maybe they won't be happy. It's going to keep you from getting to that best person, to that best self that you want. You don't want to be in that self-doubt mode all the time. Like, what if I do that and they don't like it? Or what if I do it and I make a mistake? Who cares if you make a mistake? I make mistakes all the time. Do I like it? No. Like, what if this live didn't go well? Or what if, like, when the power was out, I made dumb mistakes. Like, I forgot to cancel certain things and do all that. I mean, yeah, I felt terrible, but I'm also, like, only human. So just don't worry about what other people think. Embrace that younger, less secure self, right? Right. And you want to embrace the younger, less secure. Like, you want to do that. And you only need to please yourself and receive approval from yourself, nobody else. Not that you're not going to talk to your husband or family about certain things, but it's really about you. Become a really good listener. You're going to learn a lot from listening. I love listening to people. So close your mouth and listen to people. Old friends, strangers, family members. So when you're an excellent listener, you'll be able to develop intimate and deeper connections. And those are the people that you want in your life then. You'll have a lot of interesting conversations, and you'll keep your mind active and growing as we get a little bit older. I know I've got all kinds of things that I've learned to do, and if you've found some things that you've learned in this next chapter that you want to fix, please feel free to share. Dorothy said people can be so mean. I do me, but it can be hard, right? I always have to keep thinking about what I want. You do, because it's not that you don't care about other people, because we do. We're women and we got families and we care about people, right? But you have to put yourself first at some point in your life, because you're not going to be who you want to be if you don't. You'll still be chasing your tail, still be chasing that person you want to be. Again, that's that boundaries and stuff. And so what women want, what you want, is important. And yeah, people can be so mean, but also don't worry about what they think. Practice forgiveness is another thing, right? We hold deep grudges and we don't, and we hurt inside, and sometimes it's hard to forgive. But forgive yourself and forgive them and move on, because you need to kind of let that go, because you don't want to feel hurt and isolated all the time. You want to experience positive energy, relief, open-heartedness, and compassion, right? So practice forgiveness as well. Own and develop creativity, and I think a lot of you are doing that. You're developing that next chapter. You're focusing on that. So that's important. We talked a little bit about practicing mindfulness by journaling, or that grateful time at night or in the morning when you can just write down your thoughts. That helps with sleep too. And I want to just mention this. I really got to think about this, but creating the life of your dreams. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to take yourself, right? Who is that person? What does that person look like? Also, don't take yourself too seriously. I mean, leading a productive, meaningful life is serious, right? You want it to come true. But you have to also have fun. You have to laugh at yourself. You have to be playful. Otherwise, it's just not going to be fun. And when you're open-minded and playful, that creativity is gonna start, right? And you're gonna develop deep connections with positive people, and you're gonna be able to laugh, and you'll become happier. And so we want what. I mean, when we're in our 40s and 50s, and that midlife stuff starts to happen, this is a time where we can look back on our life and go, okay, that's the door, is closed. I can't change that, but I can change the way I'm looking at my next chapter and where I want to go with that and what I want to do and set those goals. So hopefully this is helpful, because it's interesting what happens to us when we get to a certain age, right? It's that awakening. It's that tipping point sometimes. But it's also a feeling. I want you to look at that as a feeling of freedom. You have freedom now to do what you want to do, right? And you can analyze your life and look at your successes and learn from your failures. So it's fun. You've gotta make it fun and not be so serious. Make it serious enough that you're going to stick with it and be committed, but also have fun with it, and know that. Like I tell you guys all the time, 80%, it's the 80-20 rule. 80% you're just going to stay on track. You're going to do really well with your goals and working towards those goals. And the 20%, you got to live your life, right? You're going to have a piece of birthday cake. You're going to have, celebrate an anniversary. You're going to do all those things because you can't live under a rock. But know that you indulge one day and you move on and you start back on your goals the next day. So, Dorothy, we have to keep our heads up front. Yes, time flies. The next thing you know, we are another year of being unhappy, right? So you are in charge of your happiness. That's a good thing too. You are in charge of your life. You're in charge of your happiness. Nobody's going to make you happy. You are in charge of that. What about your relationship with your adult kids? How not to feel like you are garbage for them? I'm not exactly sure. Those adult kids, that is tough because they are adults. You also have to live your life the best way you know how, and sometimes they're gonna have maybe some comments and things, for you, but as long as you are happy with you and you know you are on the right person, sometimes you got to give those family members boundaries and not let them into your life, but only when you choose to let them in, and live your best life. So, and then hopefully that trickles down so they see that and they can move in that direction too. I know that's really hard. It has to be really hard to have that happen. I know we talked a lot about boundaries a couple weeks ago, and that still pertains, because if you don't set boundaries, you won't be able to take charge of your life. You need to plan that time for you. So hopefully that helps a little bit, Angela. But anyway, really just wanted to talk about, what happens? What do women want when they're 40s, 50s, and 60s? What do you want your next chapter to be. Moving on from your first chapter, right? And bringing those successes, learning from the failures, and making new goals, making new friends, becoming a better version of you in whatever form that is. Those are your goals. That's your decision. And I'm really glad you guys were here. I'm glad you all shared. It's been amazing. And please make comments even if you watch this replay. I want to hear from you. I want to know what you want in this next chapter and what you need. And I shared with you some of the things that I had to go through to get what I want and need. And you know what? It's a journey. It's a journey, and it's an ongoing journey. It just never ends. But make it fun, make it interesting, make it productive. Can't even talk. And Dorothy, you're ready for the next chapter. And we all are. We're all ready for it. It's our time. It's like we had an amazing first chapter, right? We raised kids, most of us. We've been through a lot. We've survived. Now this is that next chapter, and we're going to hit it out of the park. And you're working hard and putting yourself first. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Key is you're responsible for you and your happiness, your decisions, your life. So I'm going to leave that with you. Again, make some comments. I want to hear from you, and anything at all, let me know if you have any questions. And let's see, who is it that I need to get back to about, let's see. Anyway, I think it's Annie. Yeah, you're doing really, really well. Vicky, yes. Thanks for sharing, you guys, all your comments. I will get back to you if I said I was going to. I will follow up. Otherwise, have an amazing rest of your evening, and we'll see you next week.